Hello, everybody. Walt here with a quick editor's note. During this week's show, we mistakenly referred to the Netflix series Love, Death, and Robots as Love, Sex, and Robots. Now, whether it was me having a senior moment or a result of decades of drugs, alcohol, caffeine, and cheesecake abuse, we want to apologize for the error. Just a side note, though, there's a lot of sex in that Netflix series, but I guess that's besides the point. Anyway, enjoy the episode, folks. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Get Geek podcast, where we celebrate geek, nerd, and pop culture. Each week, we deliver the best analysis for fans, by fans, on anything related to movies, TV, video games, comics, anime, and manga. We talk geek. And now, here's the Get Geek podcast.
That's what this is about? What?
Yeah, look how stupid Godzilla looks. And Mecha Godzilla. He has no butt. Yeah, Kong. Kong looks like a king. Kong looks kingly there.
Did you see the pictures that he sent through Telegram? Of the Kong? Are these Godzilla versus Kong licensed toys?
These are official toys.
These are official toys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
These are not like who makes these? Is it NECA
These look like the cheap
ones.
These aren't the top of the line
things, man.
No.
These are the Godzilla. The Godzilla and the Kongs are the official top of the line collectible toys. The Mecha does not look great, but the Mecha.
Looking at this is not.
Kong looks good.
No.
Godzilla looks. There's no real way to describe.
Well, you know what? Godzilla is always thick on the bottom, anyway.
Yeah,
you know,
and they gave him real arms this time around because they knew that he wouldn't be able to actually touch Kong without him. It's the truth. Are you? Is it not the truth?
Here we go. We're starting this episode.
Robot who cares?
But he looks. Look at this. He looks freaking flat.
No, but they took I know. We're starting this episode with a Godzilla versus. We're live already. Okay, we've been live. So the reason that Mecha Godzilla's tail looks like that is because it obviously doesn't fit in the box.
No,
you have to put it in later.
No, I'm not talking about that. Look at his.
I know
it looks flat as hell.
Well, Mecha Godzilla wasn't.
He is a machine.
Opinion, the best design.
It's a machine. How is it gonna have glutes?
Like this. It's okay. It looks just.
Anyway, this is the Get Geek podcast. Welcome everybody to this weird opening of a episode.
It's actually usually how our episodes open up before we hit record.
Yes,
it's how we wake up.
The only difference is this time I actually push record. So, anyway, yes,
looks like he came from How to Train a Dragon.
Oh gosh, see, you've started a firestorm here.
Whoa. I didn't do anything. I just stated facts. Okay. Kong is better than Godzilla.
He started out this episode with Godzilla sucks.
That's true though.
The toy version. Anyway, like I said, welcome to the Get Geek podcast. I am Walt, and
this is Wolfie.
Yeah,
AJ.
Hello.
This is Eli.
and before we get started, I just want to remind everybody that we are still remote recording, although hopefully that'll change soon. I hope everybody is out there getting vaccinated. We are almost there, right?
Yeah,
we're close.
Basically.
You know,
we're like 99.5%.
Yes,
we just need Eli's second.
Yeah, Eli was the straggler in the group, but now that the FDA gave authorization, he got his first shot 2 days ago.
Yeah.
3 days ago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and no side effects, which is awesome. Anyway, so yeah, we are remote recording, so please, we apologize in advance for any craziness that you may hear. I also want to remind everybody to go ahead and rate, review, and subscribe to the show, and tell all your friends how awesome Get Geek is. I mean, seriously. Right?
Word.
Yeah. So today we're going to have a very loose discussion because we're doing first impressions, man.
Yeah, all we got is a bunch of first impressions.
But they're totally geeky.
I'm going to give you a quick disclaimer on my part. Mother Nature's been kicking my butt. So if I sound super nasally and everything, it's all just sinuses. Not sinuses. Yes, sinus. It's my sinuses. But it's the pollen attack that I'm dealing with.
Ooh,
and the pollen
allergies.
seems to be extra serious this year around. I don't know what's going on. None of my medicine is helping. I got a breathe right strip on, and I still feel super nasally. So I apologize. But I wanted to be here on the show, so
it's all good. Dedication, bro. Dedication. You know what I'm saying? So let's talk, man. I mean, I personally have been kind of, diving into the Love, Sex, and Robots thing on Netflix. Have you guys heard about that?
I mean, I remember before you mentioned it, like a long time ago, you geeked out about it. We did a geek out, and you geeked out about it, and I checked out a few episodes of the first.
Hard, right?
Yeah, you did. It was a real hard geek out, and rightfully so, because it's one of those episodes that's like those shows that's perfect for you because you don't have a lot of time being a full-time dad and a full-time everything. So little 10-minute clips with really good production. Right up your alley.
It really does work. I mean, the first volume was 18 episodes. This one is a little bit less. I think volume 2, which just came out on Friday, is only 8 episodes, and they range from 7 to 18 minutes. So it works, like you said, it works perfectly in my busy schedule because I could just sit down for a quick minute, do 7 minutes, boom, I'm done. And I can always come back to it. And the good thing about it is that it's an anthology, right? It's not a show where it's you're following a story for an entire season. The best way I can describe it for people who haven't seen it, it is a marriage between the Animatrix and Black Mirror. I mean, that's exactly how it works.
Have the boys seen it?
Yes.
So they haven't seen volume 1 because volume 1 is a very, very mature season.
Yes. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, there's a lot of bits and twigs and berries in that, as I like to say it. Volume 2 seems to be a little bit less Adam and Eve, so to speak. So they've seen a couple of episodes. I mean, you've seen, especially with Eli, because Eli, as you all well know, is an art student, and that's what it is. So the animation styles were a particular interest to him, right?
Yeah. Should I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Talk about it.
What me, AJ, and Walt, we saw this episode. I think it was yesterday at around like 10.
Yeah.
It was the Michael B. Jordan thing, right? I don't know what episode it was called.
Yeah, it's called Life Hatch.
Life Hatch, right? And bro, AJ really thought it was real at first, and my mother was contemplating whether it was real or not too, right? Because it looked that realistic.
Yes.
So was I, and it was like, bro.
This was one of the episodes that you can say kind of broke the uncanny valley, so to speak, because you could not tell whether you're watching Michael B. Jordan actually there or whether this was a CGI. It was that believable.
Like, to put it simply, the animation looks so smooth. It looked natural because when you saw the Michael B. Jordan, the main character, the human, he made, I don't know how to explain it. It was more natural human motion. So like he would I guess shake his head a little bit at some points.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of dialogue, so a lot of the the character, the insight into the character really had to be facial expressions and things of that nature. So that's why I say it really, really does break the uncanny valley and stuff.
And it had a pretty good storyline. There wasn't really much to it. It's just it was interesting to say the least. I think that for you to get the whole full scope of what I'm talking about, you need to watch it for yourself, which you should
Which
because
episode was
listening.
this? Because I want to Google this real quick. I want to like take a look at some of these pictures.
It's
Life.
called Life Hatch.
Okay.
So we've seen in this particular volume, we've seen automated customer service, which is an awesome take on killer Roombas, so to speak. We've seen Pop Squad. Well, I've seen Pop Squad. I don't think you guys saw it, which deals with a dystopian future where children are not allowed to be born.
Oh,
We saw yesterday the Tall Grass. Did you see that? No,
yeah, I
you
saw
didn't.
that.
Okay, the Tall
Andre
Grass.
didn't.
All
I
Through
did
the
not
House,
see
which
Yeah,
is
you
a
it.
didn't see it.
Christmas episode, and Life Hutch. So there's really 2 other episodes that we have to watch. So, but highly recommended. I really, really do recommend it, especially if you're
Dude,
into
this CGI is
animation.
insane. I mean,
It is, right?
yeah, I can see how. I mean, yeah, I feel like I can't really tell unless you're telling me that it's CGI. I guess because I'm looking at stills, I'm not looking at video. But
Oh,
oh
the
my
video
gosh,
is
Bro, video
indistinguishable.
is
Also, I mean, there are certain little ticks that obviously with
yeah.
CGI, like when you're walking and stuff, there's still that little. They don't have the movement 100%, but
But
facial
you know, the
expressions
thing
are
is, like, they
incredible.
probably put the same amount of money that they would put like in a full feature length
Yeah,
CGI production in
I
this like
wouldn't
10
doubt
minute
it.
clips because it takes a lot of money and time consumption from the CGI from the 3D artist's standpoint in order to get that. I know a 3D modeler, and actually yesterday I was talking to him about like what it's like, as far as what it takes to get like even just like a small little 10-second clip. It's like
Hmm.
weeks and weeks and weeks of work.
Yeah,
um Shout out to Saad who's pining and getting recruited hopefully to do some Netflix shows.
oh, that's
So as
awesome.
soon as he
nice.
does, maybe we can get him on to do like a little bit of an interview and all that. But yeah, man, it's crazy.
Yeah, I definitely recommend. Like I said before, I definitely recommend people check this show out. It's the first volume did receive a bunch of Emmys. I don't know exactly what, but I'm pretty sure the second volume, short as it is probably going to get the same type of accolades because I mean some of the animation is just jaw dropping. I mean
Bro,
the
the
tall
grass.
grass episode,
Like,
it's literally a painting in a museum come to life. It really, really is, and it's just like you
bro,
know.
there's so many good animations there. Like you said, it's paintings. They try and they don't they focus more. They focus mainly on the art, which is something you don't see a lot. And I feel like that's a pretty big highlight for them because they're really putting in the effort to try and come up with all these unique and different art styles. I mean, for one, you go from like something similar to the Gorillas art style.
Oh yeah, that was a good episode.
Yeah, and I love that episode, right? And then you go to like something more like a little bit more not abstract, I would say, but yeah, something more abstract
Hmm.
for their artwork, which is something that I think deserves a lot more credit. And
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's yeah.
that works. So
Um. So I mean, it sounds super dope. I can't wait to actually check. I want to. Should I?
It
I
is.
mean, I know that it's an anthology, but should I finish the first season because I haven't the first volume just to kind of get
you
it
know
out of the
what?
way because I'm assuming that it's not going to help me understand anything, but
Right.
to
It really won't. Like I said, with volume 2, we're not going by. We're kind of like picking and choosing the episodes we want to see first.
okay.
So I
Mhm.
think you can do the same thing if you just. And the good thing is that Netflix, when you go into the episode picker, it you can just jump back and forth. So It really doesn't matter. You can start with volume 2, grab a couple episodes there, jump back to volume 1. But I do recommend you watch the majority of the volume 1 episodes because they are great.
Right. No, I
They
plan
really
on
are.
watching it. I just,
There's no
I
order to
I
it.
definitely want to check this episode that has Michael B. Jordan in it. That's super interesting.
This could be a movie if they really fleshed it out, and
Bro.
I'll just leave it at that.
God, that'd take
because it jumps back and forth between what's happening and what happened to cause what's happening, and what happened
Ooh.
cause
Oh.
what's
Oh,
happening
that's a perfect
is
segue.
yeah. It looks like it's a movie, and they like an entire movie, and then his thing is kind of like a side quest to what's going on to the bigger picture.
So the
If you
reason I say
understand.
it's like a perfect segue is because I want to talk about my trip to the Alamo Draft House.
Ooh, let's go.
And I saw Wrath of Man with Jason Statham, which is the first time that he's not the first time that he's in the leading role. That's wrong to say,
No, he's
but
had some.
he's had leading role in Guy Ritchie film. I'm talking about specifically Guy Ritchie film, right?
Okay.
He was the leading role. It's the one that basically first made him popular. Maybe not internationally yet, but because I think that the one that made him super popular was The Transporter.
Yes.
But in
People started taking notice in the Guy Ritchie movies.
in Snatch, he was the
it was
lead,
great.
right? Well, he's the lead again. He's the lead again in this film, and this film is kind of like that. Something happens, and then it's going back and forth between the thing that happened, what Jason Statham is doing about it, and then it goes back to like before the thing that happened, what caused everything to happen. So just like a Guy Ritchie movie,
just happened.
it's a bit of a maze, and everything gets revealed little by little through the maze. And what's interesting about the film, and I don't want to get too much into the film because I want to talk about my experience of going to the Alamo for the first time in well over a year now. The thing about the film is that it was a little bit Tarantino-esque in the sense that he did chapters, right?
Interesting.
So the way that Tarantino does a chapter to kind of like, make like a statement of like what the purpose of this section of the film is kind of what Guy Ritchie did, which was cool. And I will say that the movie it can be very, very intense for the majority of the film, and I think it was intentional just because of kind of putting you in the shoes of Jason Statham, and that wrath that he's holding inside, which is why it's called Wrath of Man. Highly recommend. I love all Guy Ritchie films, but going to the theater,
he did triple duty on this one, right? He produced, directed, and wrote the screenplay.
Well, he usually does. He usually does in his own films, because he has his his own production company, Tough Guy Productions, and usually for those films he writes, directs, and produces
That's awesome.
his films and stuff.
I love his
another
movies.
one. Have you seen The Gentleman?
I have not, believe it or not.
You have to, because that is Guy Ritchie's. That is the chef's kiss of Guy Ritchie films.
Oh wow!
That movie is. It's kind of unfortunate because I saw that film, and now like every Guy Ritchie film, every film really that has to do with like crime drama, that is the pinnacle for me. And so it's tough. It's tough to judge. The Gentleman with Matthew McConaughey. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that movie is definitely a must watch. 100%. It is just absolutely wonderfully done from you have to watch that film. So it's hard for me to judge anything that comes after it from Guy Ritchie because I'm like, it wasn't as good as The Gentleman, which Wrath of Man is pretty good, but definitely not as good as The Gentleman.
That's
still
impressive.
Yeah, still gotta watch it though. Still gotta go watch it.
I gotta check it out because I love Snatch. Snatch is one of my favorite films, like of all time.
It blows
Lock,
Snatch out of the
Stock.
water. I love Snatch too, and Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, and Rock and Roller.
Rock and Roll is the other one
Yeah,
that I love
yeah,
also. So,
yeah. The Gentleman blows those out of the water.
oh my gosh! Okay,
Yeah,
I'm definitely watching it today. Then,
yeah. You have
that's
to watch it.
crazy.
You have to watch it. I'm probably gonna watch it today again. I love that movie. That movie is so good.
Right,
But
but
my experience with going to the theater. Now, you guys haven't been to the movies yet.
Nope.
I'm
it
sure you guys
has
are dying
been,
to.
bro. It has been. I keep track of the
More
movies
than a year.
that I watch. Because you know how anal I can be, right?
It's been more than a
It
year.
has been a long freaking time since we've seen a movie.
In the theaters.
In the
Yeah.
theater, yeah, because we're still watching movies. I think the last movie that we saw, I'm gonna pull that up real quick. The last movie that we saw in the movie theaters
It's like John Wick.
was Invisible Man.
What the frick?
Oh,
wait.
yeah, that's right.
No, actually, yeah,
Yeah,
that was
that is. I remember you
That
geeked out
makes
about it.
sense.
yeah.
Man, I can't believe I can
It's been
I
a
can remember the geek
long.
outs.
It's been a long freaking time.
What's Invisible Man again?
That's the one where
In the
guy wears the
Monsterverse,
suit.
right?
Yeah, in
No,
the
not the
Monsterverse.
Monsterverse. In the what is
The
it?
Dark Universe.
The Dark Universe. Yeah.
Yeah,
The
where the guy's
Monsterverse.
invisible and it's actually
You're gonna get your chance, AJ. Relax.
you know which one. I'll show you
We can
later.
have a whole
Anyway,
nother debate if you want.
so it's been a long time for us in the movie theaters. Let's put it that way. You guys can fight afterwards. I want to hear about the Alamo. I'm super pumped because this is the second time you've been to a movie theater, right?
Right, it's the second time. The first time I went to see Mortal Kombat at Regal Cinemas.
Oh, that's awesome.
You know, it was super dope to see. I had already seen Mortal Kombat on television, you know, for our review of it and all that. But I went to see it in the theater because, you know, it's Mortal Kombat. I want to see it on like the big giant screen. I want to see those fight scenes and fatalities on the big screen. Didn't make the plot any better, but the fight scenes were really cool. But with the Alamo has a really special place in my heart because when I first visited Austin, Texas, which is where the Alamo Drafthouse is from, I went to visit a friend of mine, and it was just a vacation. I had a week-long vacation there, and he kind of had like this game plan. Actually, John Diaz, who's been we did an interview with him on here. He's now an electronic artist. So, but anyway, he had like this whole game plan to show me all these things in Austin that would convince me to move down there. And like on the third or fourth day, we visited the Alamo to watch Hulk, the Edward Norton version, and the whole experience of eating in a movie theater that has its own like kind of production before the film. It's a restaurant. It's a beer draft house. Like it just sold me, and I canceled my flight back to Pennsylvania that night, and I was like, if I can find a place to stay here and a job, I'm just staying, and I did.
So he did an excellent job of convincing you then.
Yeah, well, the Alamo did because the Alamo is that's why the Alamo has a special place in my heart. And it was really hard to see that the Alamo had to file bankruptcy and then sell the company because they weren't able to survive the pandemic by themselves. It was a family-owned business. I forgot who they had to sell to, but it was basically owned by a couple that started the Alamo down in Austin, Texas. They bought out the property to like this old rundown theater and decided to like start selling food and beer and just like, you know, show some old movies and stuff. And then they turned it into a thing and it became a nationwide chain. But again, being a family-owned business, it's an independent company. They didn't have the funds to survive the pandemic, and they ended up having to sell. So, but I'm glad to see that they are still able to open. They just opened the last week on the 7th, and this is the first chance that I could go see a movie at the Alamo. Now, the experience at the Alamo is pretty much the same, with the exception of one or two things, right? At the Alamo here in downtown Brooklyn, they have like this gift shop that's huge. That's really cool. They got like a bunch of T-shirts, records, games, toys, puzzles, artifacts, everything that's related to like old school movies. For example, they have a vinyl collection of video game soundtracks on vinyl. Like I bought the Castlevania 2 soundtrack on a vinyl record.
Okay.
They have all the Star Wars soundtracks on vinyl for sale. Like they're basically movie nerds. They're movie geeks, super
They
geeks,
are.
you know. Um, and that's not there anymore. So
That's not there, as in they
they don't.
temporarily shut
Yeah,
it down
they
because of.
everything is the entire shop is gone. They don't know if they're gonna have it back, but as of right now, they moved everything out. All their, I guess, some of the companies kind of went bust of the products that they used to house and stuff. So
Oh wow,
so I don't know, that's a little bit sad to see because it was one of my
that
favorite things to do,
sucks.
is to go to a movie at the Alamo and then check out some of their stuff, pick up some stuff, and then sit down, order my food, and watch a movie.
Hmm.
So that's not there. And then the second thing is that the menu is about half the size.
Really?
Yeah, so it's still a pretty decent menu, but
Hmm.
I think that they have as far as right now, they have a smaller kitchen. um they're probably still kind of rebuilding, right? They're not gonna have
Yeah.
like a full stock restaurant essentially. So that's really the only thing. Other than that, everything is the same.
Do they
You
still
still
have the
have
cookies?
Oh, I
That's
didn't check
that's
out
uh
desserts.
that that's Amy's favorite. Whenever
I
we
did
go there,
not
she
check out
always has
desserts,
to
but
have the cookies.
I will say that I do not think I saw cookies on there.
Oh, that's gonna devastate her. That was
They have a
every
lot more
time.
pizza.
Oh,
That may or may not be a good thing.
They have like a full pizza menu now.
Because I remember they had like tacos and finger foods and things of that
They still
nature.
got some of the finger foods. They still got like sandwiches. They did away with the flatbreads, and they have a lot of pizza. Um, but the sandwiches are like 3 sandwiches. They did away with the hot dogs, which kind of sucks because I used to love
What?
getting their hot dogs. So yeah, but we'll see. It might be a temporary thing, but outside of that, the experience is still the same. You go there, you sit. An Alamo Ninja comes through, and takes your ticket and starts taking your order and stuff. I call them ninjas because they kind of like walk hunched down to make sure
Yeah.
that they don't interrupt the film in front of you
Mm-hmm.
to take your order and everything. And one of my favorite things is like the pre-production. Like right before they start all the trailers, they have kind of like their own produced mini ads or spoofs or things related to the film you're about to see. This time they didn't have anything specifically for Wrath of Man. My assumption is that because they're just opening up, they don't have any of their like um like specific productions done
Right.
yet.
Mm-hmm.
um but they it's just cool to see. Like we were watching like Jackie Chan bloopers before the movie and stuff, so it was cool.
Well,
um
filming in general is a little bit tough, especially in
yeah,
the
yeah,
coronavirus age. So,
right,
it's I would imagine their production might take a hit just because of that,
right.
and the
So
fact that they're opening up. So,
mhm.
yeah, I mean that's my first impressions of the going to the theater. I know that I already went before, but like I was Regal Cinemas is cool, but Alamo is where I want to watch every movie. So
how was
um
capacity? How was capacity in there? Was
oh,
it
capacity was, I would say, it was about 50% of the stadium was full. There was, I think that like the way they're doing things is making sure that if I buy 2 seats together, then the 2 seats next to me are automatically blocked off so that no one else can buy them, to make
okay?
sure that there's
Hmm.
social distancing. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's how like all the theaters are doing it pretty much. But with the Alamo, because you have like the tables in front of you, you have that extra space between the row in front of you as well.
Right.
So it's not like a traditional theater where you're a little bit like kind of like the front row is relatively close to you.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have that. So I don't know if they're blocking off the seats in front of me also, but I would say that about like the theater was about half full. I don't know if that's because of the seats being blocked off, and it was a sellout, or if it's just that people are still hesitant to go to the theater. So, we also had to have the mask on the entire time unless we're eating and drinking. So we're still practicing good, health safety rules. So
Okay, that works.
that's about it.
Yeah, that is awesome. I'm dying to go back to the movie theaters, and I think right
3
now,
weeks, 4
yeah,
weeks.
3 weeks. My hesitancy has really been, we have some uh people in our household that they could be compromised pretty badly if they caught
Right, right,
coronavirus, and so
right.
all of my decisions have been informed by that. But I think we're getting that much closer to the point where we can start doing more and more normal things
Right,
here.
right.
And so one of those things would definitely be going back to a movie theater, because
Man,
I
I
miss
cannot
that,
wait.
man.
I miss doing the Get Geek movie trips and reviews.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was always the highlight. It's
Yeah.
we all would go down as a group, check out the
Get White
movies, and
Castle.
sometimes White Castle, and sometimes come right back and record the
Yeah.
same night, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I
hopefully
miss
we'll
that.
get back to that very, very soon.
Um
So you guys were fighting about Godzilla versus Kong before. Are you guys done with that argument, or
I
I
mean,
don't?
the argument's been done since the movie ended. There's not
Ooh,
much more to go over.
wow. Okay.
really? Oh,
Did
do
I
we
just
want to
open
change the
up?
topic of this podcast?
Did I just open up Pandora's box here? you know. Um. All right. Well, anyway, you know what? Let's move on from Godzilla versus Kong. We've had
AJ, instead of talking about how
before.
cool Kong looks over Godzilla, why don't you talk about Invincible?
There you go. That's a good segue, because Godzilla is invincible.
Oh,
Yeah,
come
he is
on,
No,
invincible.
no, no, no. Stop.
dude.
Stop right
Dude,
there.
He is invincible. Thank you.
thank you for the bias. Oh, so invincible that Mecha Godzilla can beat the crap out of him
Well,
He was
yes,
just
that's
taking it
because
easy.
because he's not
he is
invincible.
an
Anyway,
invincible
go on. Give
destroyer.
me your first
He,
impressions.
he was getting ready for his appearance in Singular Point, right? He had to take it easy. So
Oh
anyway,
gosh.
let's move on. Invincible, let's go. AJ.
Okay, so in a nutshell, the show is about someone who claims he's invincible and names himself invincible. But why is he invincible? Quote unquote. Oh, well, that's because Invincible is the son of a guy called Omni Man, who is one of the toughest superheroes around. And they're set in a world where they have a pseudo Justice League called the Guardians of the Globe. And oh god, I feel like I'm almost forgetting something. Oh yeah, that's right. The Guardians of the Globe. This is spoiler territory now, so you were warned.
I mean, if you haven't been spoiled
Whatever.
on Instagram yet,
Which we have,
yeah,
plenty
I
of
have.
times. You know.
The Guardians of the Globe are just after one episode they're gone. Who cares about pseudo Justice League? Apparently, because they're just
Yeah, no.
gone.
And they're blatant ripoffs of Justice League.
War
Not
Woman.
just Justice League, but then like in episode 2, we get Teen Titans.
Yes. Or the team, right?
Oh god.
The team.
Well, it's interesting because Invincible started out its life as a comic book.
Yeah.
It was written by the creator of The Walking Dead, Robert Kirkman, and it's interesting because almost half of what The Walking Dead cast is in this show.
Oh,
Like
really?
the entirety of the Guardians of the Globe, they're all ex Walking Dead people.
No.
Yes, they are.
J.K.
Yes, they are.
Simmons wasn't in Walking Dead.
No, I'm talking about the Guardians of the Globe.
Oh, okay,
We're
yeah.
talking about
Okay.
the team that dies
Yeah,
unceremoniously in the first episode.
yeah. Okay.
You know?
Look that up while AJ continues giving us his first
Yeah.
impressions.
Yeah. So, actual first impressions. Well, it is certainly really good because we here at the household have seen 3 episodes.
I've only seen 2.
Okay, so I won't go past episode 2.
No, you can. Like I said,
Um,
a lot of it's been spoiled already for me. So
no, that's a shame. Yeah. So, like I was saying, pretty good. I like how this is very reminiscent of The Boys. If The Boys actually started off as happy-go-lucky and then
yeah,
just ripped that veil off of you like it was attached to your skin mercilessly,
yes,
like chunks of your flesh were part of that veil as they ripped it off, and then they dug their hands deeper into it and just like. "Arrgh."
okay. I mean, that's basically what happens.
Yeah.
It's funny because I had the same sentiments. I was watching the show. I knew that like some violent stuff happened because they kept comparing it to The Boys, but I'm watching it and like the first episode just really seems like a great father-son show.
Yeah.
A few adult themes, but there's no blood and guts. There's no like vicious anything. It's still like we're the hope for humanity and everything, and felt very Justice League-y. And then right after the credits, I was like, that's not what this show is.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you a question because it's interesting you said that, and it lends myself to one of the questions that I have about this show. This show doesn't seem to have the buzz that I think it really deserves, right?
No, yeah.
It really doesn't, and I wonder if it's because of the way that first episode was presented. Because with new shows, the first episode is really the thing that catches people, right?
Mhm.
And like you said, the very first part of the show, there's really nothing to get excited about. And
I
so I can see where people kind of fell off of this thing, looking at it and saying, well, you know what, this is just going to be a regular show. And if they didn't stick around until the end, which was just captivating. I mean, like, I was kind of like watching the show and I'm
was
like, okay,
squeamish.
yeah, well, yeah, but it was just one of these gut punches where it's like, whoa, where the heck did this come from?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
So perfect.
And right, exactly. But they held it to the end, and I wonder if maybe a lot of people kind of dropped off
You know,
because of it.
I
So-
don't think so. And AJ, you can kind of tell me what you think, but I think that this is kind of what happens in animation versus live action. Because when you have live action, you
Mhm.
have all the stars that are promoting the fact that they're on the show, and you have all like
And there's a ton of stars in this thing.
there is, but
Ton.
like, but see, like with an animated show, you don't get to show off set pictures of you in costume and like promotional video of you in that stuff. So like, it
That's
doesn't
true.
really get shared because I would point to the Harley Quinn show that kind of flew under the radar, and that one is an adult animated show as well,
Mhm.
and that one didn't really catch like crazy buzz either.
That's
It's not
true.
as gruesome as this one, but it's very shocking in the fact that like we're watching this because if you think about it, we grew up watching Harley Quinn on the Batman the Animated Series as kids, and now we're watching Harley Quinn in a very, very
Dude,
adult show.
I remember the first time when you came over and I showed you the very first episode of Harley
Yes.
Quinn.
Yeah, I
And
was like, what the heck am I watching?
Your jaw was literally on the
Yeah.
floor, bro.
I was
You know
like,
I'm
what
saying?
in the world? This is crazy. Absolutely. That's how I felt about it,
Okay,
so
so
I think that's what that is. What
maybe that's the focus.
what do you think? Do you think, AJ, do you think that that's kind of how, do you see it that way, or do you think that there's another reason why it hasn't like super caught on yet?
Well, it's actually funny because if I remember correctly, Dad was about to turn it off, and I was like, no, wait, it's not done. You gotta wait. Don't do it.
Because it did seem like it was the end of the episode.
Yeah.
I wasn't really gonna turn it off, but I thought there was gonna be that. You know how like it pops up,
Mm-hmm.
go to episode 2. I
Yeah.
thought that was gonna come, so that's why.
You know, so when the credits started rolling, yeah, the same thing. I was like, oh, I don't know what it's so cracked up to be. So I just grabbed my phone to get on Instagram, and the credits are just rolling because I was waiting for the next episode to just start, right? Like
Right,
the autoplay.
exactly.
So I'm on
Yeah.
Instagram, and the next thing you know, it just cuts, and they're getting all, and I'm like, oh, is this the next episode already? I wasn't sure actually, and then when everything happened, and then it rolled to credits, I was like, wait, that was the first episode still.
It's jarring though, really.
Very.
Like,
Oh man, it was very jarring.
'cause
Like, yeah,
you had this kind of, like you said, it's a father son story. Everything's happy
yeah,
go
yeah,
lucky. I mean, there's some things that go on, but then it got super dark,
yeah,
super
man.
quick.
Oh man, it's definitely, yeah. I can't wait to finish it.
Yeah, I know. So, just so that you know, like I said before, the cast, which I said is fantastic. I mean, there's some great people on this, but the Guardians of the Globe features Ross Marquand, who plays a lot of characters in the show, which is to be expected because I don't know. Do you know who Ross Marquand is?
No, not
Okay,
off the top of
so
my head.
have you watched Walking Dead?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like fell off around the time that everyone fell off.
Yeah, I know. I did the same thing also. He played I believe he played Aaron in The Walking Dead, and I'm double checking just to make sure because I don't want to give you guys
Yeah.
the wrong thing. Yeah, he played Aaron in The Walking Dead. So I don't know if you ever got that far ahead. But he is a fantastic voice actor. Like, he was the guy that played the Red Skull in Avengers Endgame, Infinity War.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
And,
Yeah.
and he did the voice of Agent Smith perfectly. So, this guy, it makes sense that he's going to play different characters in this thing because, and just, I would tell you, go on YouTube him because he does fantastic impressions of other people.
Right. No, I have. So, like, you mentioned this before when we were talking about Red Skull, like when we were geeking out over that.
Yeah, over that. Right.
And
Decades ago.
and I YouTube it. I YouTubed all his impressions. I was like amazed that he can do that. Such great impressions.
He's really, really good. But like I said, he's one of the guys. You have Lauren Cohan, who plays War Woman, right? Sonequa Martin Green, Chad Coleman, Michael Cudlitz, Lenny James. These are all guys from The Walking Dead, So it kind of makes sense that he would bring those guys into the show because he's got familiarity with these actors already. Why not bring them on to the next project? Seth Rogen is on the show.
Yeah, that's right. That it's one of those things. I love animations that have like these like superstar people like do like some of these sub characters because you hear the voice and you pick it out and you're like, oh snap, that's Seth Rogen.
Well, listen, you got Seth Rogen, you got Mahershala Ali, who's going to show up later on. I don't think we've gotten to that part yet. Mark Hamill's in it. Carrie Payton, which is another guy from The Walking Dead, but he also is the voice actor for one of the Teen Titans. He plays, I think, Cyborg in the Teen Titans cartoon show. Zazie Beetz is on it. Like I said, Mark Hamill is in it. Clancy Brown, he's a character actor. So there's a ton of people on this show. It's exciting. It's exciting for me to to see the show. But this is one of these things that first 3 episodes, I think we can all agree you guys really need to jump onto Amazon Prime and watch this show. And
for sure.
It's unfortunate that it doesn't have the buzz that it does. It should have, but
you know what though? I want to push back a little bit on that. I want to push back actually because this whole week, what's got me wanting to watch the show is that I'm seeing like fan casts this whole week of like who should play Omni-Man, and like one of the biggest ones is John Hamm. I think it would be great.
And John Hamm was in the show already.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, he played. You know the security guard that takes his
Oh, that's
son.
him.
That was him. You know,
Oh
so
man,
he's already on the show. Like I said, there's like undercover casting here that we don't.
that's
We're like,
freaking
oh,
awesome.
he's already in it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man, that's
So
freaking dope.
there's like a lot of things. And maybe what I'm saying is that because this show is now over 2 months long. This thing
Mm,
came out March 25th. And so I think now people are starting
yeah,
to
yeah,
appreciate the show, and
yeah,
now they're
yeah.
starting to find it.
Okay.
But it didn't have that at the very beginning. I guess that's what I'm saying. You know, and it could
Yeah.
be because of Marvel, and at the time you had those shows coming out and stuff like that. So maybe it got buried with that. But I think now people are starting to find the show, and I'm glad because it's an awesome show. So,
To be honest, like, because we only started watching it because I actually started watching it before you guys.
yeah,
One of the only reasons why I started watching it, to be honest, and I'm sure the same goes for Eli. Whenever I go on Instagram, I always see the meme. Are you? Oh God, what's it? I'm not gonna spoil the name, but basically, one of the characters goes off on a rant on the other characters, and he goes, "Think blank, think." It's like my favorite meme out there. Oh my
it's all about
God.
Okay.
it's all about memes,
And
right?
then once I saw like a bunch of those, I'm like, okay, I got to see the source material now. I can't just keep staying in the dark about this. Well, what got you into the show, Eli?
Well, I think that was also one of the reasons. I also got um
Spoiled.
not spoiled, but I was also pushed into it by surprisingly enough a kid I never met, and he was telling me
Oh yes, when we went to that comic book store in
yeah.
Roosevelt Field.
He was telling me a little bit about Invincible, and he told me that it's like really super dark and stuff. And I guess he didn't really tell me much, but it really piqued my interest, and I've been hearing about it, and seeing stuff posts on Instagram about it, and I've just really been wanting to jump into it. And I think now that we finally jumped into it, I think it was worth the wait. Right?
There you
Think,
go.
Eli, think. It's a meme all over the internet. You have to watch it.
There you go. So, in that vein, Eli, we're watching a show that's pretty new, and we're also watching another show on Netflix, right? That's actually ending. We're we're
Yeah.
into season 4, and the show I'm referring to is Castlevania,
Castlevania.
which I don't know. Wolfie, have you gotten into Castlevania yet?
Just the first couple seasons, actually.
Oh,
Wait,
okay.
wait.
Yeah,
Which,
yeah,
which
yeah, yeah.
season?
So like, I definitely got into like the first season. I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. And then I was really sad that it was only a few episodes. I was like, what? Why? I was super upset about that. But I have not been able to like catch up on it. But now I definitely need to because
Yes.
this is the
Dude.
final season. Yeah.
Yes, it
Yes.
is.
Before you get spoiled.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And so we haven't really gotten a chance to really get into season 4 because of our busy schedule. We've only seen the first episode, right?
Yeah, but
Um
I think I have been spoiled
oh,
a
you
little
have?
bit more.
Okay. See,
No.
social media, right?
Stop.
Social media
Stop.
kills
I'm not gonna
everything.
go in. I'm not gonna go into it. I actually did it on my own.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Spoiler.
Why'd
But,
you do that?
Okay, I didn't see the twist. Which
Because
is what
he's
matters
Walter's
most.
kid. That's why.
There you go.
But, bro, okay,
Gosh.
season 1 through 3. Should I summarize that or no?
That's
Oh,
up
wait,
to
wait,
Wolfie
wait,
because
yeah.
Wolfie has
I think see we're not giving a review. We got to give first impressions.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe give your first impressions of the show in general, and then compare it to the first episode. I think would be the
It's the,
right
be-
thing
it's
to
the
do for everyone.
it's the best video game adaptation in my mind. Period.
Definitely.
Well, we have
Period.
Walt's first impression.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Period.
It's
So
definitely, like he said, one of the best video game adaptations. I think it takes a different approach to the game, and sure, it
Okay.
does nod to the original game, and I think that's what I like about it. It's nothing more than taking characters and starting to, I guess, expand. I would think, right? And I think Yeah, they're doing a pretty good job of it. We've only seen the first episode. There wasn't really too much to it. I think that from what I've seen, Alucard. Oh wait, come on.
Yeah,
I
Alucard.
can't say it.
Oh, okay. Just frame it in a general sense. Like how did you feel? Did you feel the first episode flowed really well? Like, were you expecting that type of episode for the beginning of season 4?
I think it's taking a different approach, and I've said that, but it seems a little bit darker than usual, which it has its comedic moments, but it's a little bit. It's starting to take itself a little bit more seriously. Not that it wasn't serious earlier, but it's definitely. I don't know how to explain it. It's definitely.
It is. It has a lot to do within this last season, because it implied somebody major, right?
Varney. Oh, whoa.
Stop. No, it implies somebody major that we haven't seen in a couple of seasons and
Okay.
stuff. And
Yes,
so,
okay. That's all.
I'll leave it at that, because to say who it is would spoil it for anybody that hasn't gone past season 2. And so we'll leave it at that. But let me ask you this, because you are the
We should
art.
bleep that, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
In post, let's bleep that.
Well, no, but believe it or not, who he mentioned is not the person that I'm referring to.
Yeah, it's
we should-
just some
we should still bleep
not
it.
a rando,
Yeah, I know.
but
But you being the artist of this group here, why don't you talk about the animation style? Because I think there has been subtle changes, right, that we've seen in terms of the animation style, especially during the fight scenes, right?
Yeah, but
It's nothing major, but they're subtle, and there is definitely a.
it's very anime-ish, which I'll give it that. It's very anime-ish, and I think that they really try and, I guess, they focus a lot on the facial expressions, which is pretty cool, especially during the fight scenes. What?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is true. That is true. So this is going to be the last season of Castlevania. Yeah, I don't think anybody. Now there are spin-offs planned,
oh,
but in terms of what you think, how do you think there? Do you? Okay, let me put it to you this way: since we haven't seen Castlevania, the end of the entire season, do you have faith that they're going to stick the landing, so to speak, in terms of ending the show?
I hope so, because given all of the things they have to go through, that one person in that place, that other person doing that thing, uh, this person that we haven't seen in a while, this other person who looks like he's going crazy, and these two mains who are trying to just wade through all this crap. They have a lot of things to tie up, if not segue into those spin-offs. So, I mean, they haven't really done wrong so far, so I have a hope of a hope, but like they have a lot of stuff to deal with.
They do.
The ending is definitely going to be crazy because they're not setting up a main villain. At least I don't think so. But they're definitely setting up a major change in one of the main characters. Well, they're setting up a major change for all of the characters, which I think that when you finally, I guess, finish summarizing these characters' developments up, it's gonna amount to, it's gonna result to something big, and it could be negative or positive, and I think that's mainly what's gonna definitely finish up the show, I guess.
Well, they have 10 episodes to do it. Do you think they'll be able to do it in 10 episodes?
From what I've heard, yes, they have, and yeah, There's no other way to explain it. You just gotta watch the show. It's an awesome show. Season 4, I think, is gonna end up really awesome. And yeah.
Okay. So, like I said, this looks like it's going to be the end of Castlevania, the main storyline. They are implying that there will be a spin-off to the show. I don't think they actually mentioned exactly what it is. I'm checking to see right now. Yeah, they're just, it's pretty much it's just reports right now of a new series in development that would take place in the same universe.
Oh,
Netflix hasn't really objectively said yes that there was going to be a spinoff, and they also haven't mentioned whether any of the main characters from the original show will show up. So, it's pretty much one of these things where Netflix, as usual, is tight-lipped about, any of their developments. I mean, for a lot of the things, they don't even tell us release dates on new seasons and stuff like that until it's like almost there. So they're notorious for this. So, we'll leave it up to them. And
Netflix greenlights everything.
and they kill everything very quickly also if they see that it's not working for them. But this is probably their most
man.
Yeah, exactly. This is probably their most successful animated project.
Yeah.
By far. So, we are going to look forward to seeing the end of the season, and hopefully if there's a spinoff, we're probably going to jump on that also. So once we finish Castlevania, we'll probably come back and give a proper review of the season, right? Because I think it deserves it.
Yes.
All right. So on that note, I think we're going to call this podcast a wrap, right?
A wrap.
We're going to wrap it up because I think we've covered everything we wanted to cover. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope you do go out and, like I said before, please rate, review, and subscribe to the show because, again, that's the best way that you can help our podcast grow and move forward. Tell all your friends about it because, again, that's another way of, keeping us. We love doing this to begin with, so that goes without saying. But if we can get more guys listening, and if you guys want to give us any feedback, please, by all means, do so. You can try and reach out to us at bacd0fe5dc8240b8b9988bc4c06ad170. Send us a line. Give us your feedback, and maybe we'll read your email on the show. So anyway, on that note, I'm going to close out this episode by saying, stay geeky, my friends.
We all know who won.
No, Kong won. That's it. You can't say anything about that.
You really can. No, he should never have won. That was never an even fight.
Fine, but he shouldn't have been disrespectful.
Later, people.